Hello folks, welcome to Daddy Where's the Dinner? This is Chinggis Khan Airport, proving to you that I was in Mongolia. I was so busy these 2 months that I have no time to make new videos, so I've decided to show you a very interesting experience I had about 2 years ago in 20s. In that year, I went to a national park in Mongolia and even stayed there for a few nights. Let me show it to you. But before that, let me tell you a little bit about Mongolia. Some of you may know that Mongolia was once under a communist regime, and these are some of the vestiges of its history. And you will see SUKHBAATAR Square, previously known as Chinggis Square, and this is the central square of Mongolia's capital, which is called Ulaanbaatar. And then the Jaisan Memorial, which you are looking at now, is a memorial built on a hill south of Ulaanbaatar, and it honors Mongolian soldiers as well as Soviet soldiers who were killed during the Second World War. And the view here is spectacular. But the most famous thing about Mongolia is, of course, Chinggis Khan. Now take note, the locals don't call him like the way we foreigners call him, Genghis Khan. No, he's called Chinggis Khan. And although Mongolia was under communist rule, they fortunately did not lose much of their tradition. And these are some of the dishes that I tried in an authentic Mongolia restaurant. I think this fried kway teow thing is pretty good, and also I like their dumplings. But I tried the barbecue horse meat. It is a bit too tough. And finally, let's talk about my stay at Terejl National Park. Now once again, foreigner likes to call it Terejl National Park because of the way it's spelled. But let me tell you, it's wrong. It's wrong. My friend in Mongolia told me it should be pronounced Terejl. And Terejl National Park is 65 kilometers east of Mongolia's capital, Ulaanbaatar. And it is one of the nearest national parks. Now I went there in the month of October, which is a bad time actually, because it was already mid-autumn and it was getting cold, and people don't do camping in mid-autumn. And I found out the hard way when I reached there. The drive there was very pleasant. The scenery was beautiful. We saw some exotic birds along the way. I even got to take picture with this large eagle. And we then dropped by a place and took some pictures with this huge turtle rock. All this was good until we tried to find a campsite. Alas, I discovered that all the campsites were closed. Thank God my friend got hold of a personal contact, and he found out that there was a Dutchman together with his Mongolian wife who still opened their campsite for 1 more week before closing for good. So my friend dropped me at this pickup point. It was a hotel in the middle of nowhere, and I was told to wait behind this hotel. The scenery there was stunning. About 1 hour later, an old jeep turned up, and I hopped on and we drove for several kilometers into the woods. The ride there was interesting in itself, and we drove over rivers and ponds. Take a look. Eventually we reached the campsite. The view was stunning. My host brought me to this gear. Okay, what is a gear? A gear is how Mongolians call their tent, and this is how it looks like inside. The columns were intricately painted, and we even have a sunroof. And that night, the lady host cooked me one of the most delicious dinner I tried in Mongolia. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. There's no electricity and no running water here. After nightfall, I need to use a candle to read. And to keep myself warm, I have to start a fire for myself. We burn firewood and coals here. You can also forget about bathing because the water was frozen. Okay, here's the next surprise. When I reached the campsite, this was how it looked like. But the next morning, when I woke up and walked out of my gear, I saw this. The entire place was covered with snow. And I saw these two crazy dogs running towards me. And they pounced on me. I was scared to death. Thank God they were friendly dogs. And I also fully utilized the snow to make a snowman outside my tent. The next few days, I chit-chatted with a few Angmo who were just as crazy as me to stay at the campsite during this time of the year. We ate breakfast together. We even ate breakfast together with the cows. And I also rode a horse for the first time in my life. There was no safety instructions, no briefing, no nothing. The horseman just put me on the horse and off we go. He rode the horse in front and then I followed him from behind. Eventually, I was handling the horse all by myself and we rode for a few hours. Thank God I didn't fall off and die. The next few days, I was either in my gear reading my Bible or out in the open taking in that beautiful scenery before my eyes. And finally, it was time to say goodbye to Terejl National Park. And once again, I hopped onto that rusty but trusty jeep and we took the same road back to the hotel. But because of the snow, I was treated with a totally new scenery. The snow-covered terrain was just charming. And after seeing a desert wolf and forging some rivers, I was back at the hotel. What an adventure! And I want to thank Brother Daniel for showing me the best of Mongolia. Bye bye!